For chapter 3.6, what we're going to do today is we are going to write linear equations. Okay, write linear equations. So, basically, can anyone tell me what is a linear equation? What does it mean to be a linear equation?
No clue.
Linear? What is the word linear? What do you think that refers to? A line. So write linear equations. So basically that just means we're going to write equations of lines. Okay, we're going to be writing equations of lines. Okay. So we have already written some equations of lines. Okay. We've already written, we know one form. Okay, so there's different forms of linear equations. There's different forms of linear equations. We already know one, and it's y equals mx plus b. Does anyone know what kind of form that's called? What form is that called? Slope-intercept form. Okay, this is called slope-intercept form. Okay, y equals mx plus b is called slope-intercept form. What we're going to deal with today is something called, well, let me give you the equation first. The equation is going to be y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. Y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. And this one is something called point slope. Point slope form. Okay, point slope form. Point slope form. So, for example number 1, okay, it's going to say write an equation. Write an equation in point slope form. Write an equation in point slope form for the line that passes through -2, 3 with a slope of 4. Write an equation, in point slope form for the line that passes through -2, 3 with a slope of 4. So it's giving us a whole bunch of parts and asking us to write the equation for that line. So I'm going to kind of highlight the important things here. Okay, we need to know the m, and m stands for what? What does m stand for in these equations? Move, or what's the technical math word for m, for moving? Slope. Okay, slope is m, m is how you move, okay? We also need the x1, that's part of a point, and we also need a y1. So to be able to write these equations, we have to have 3 different parts. We have to have a y1, an x1, and an m. Did they give us all that stuff in here? What's this slope? This 4 is the what? The 4 is the what? Slope is what letter? M. This is your m. So I'm going to kind of try to match them up. What would you say that this is? -2 would be your what? If you label them, this is x1, y1. So the x1, -2, we have that part. And then the last part that I needed was the y one, which is the 3. So all you have to do is you have to take what you're given and write it in this form. So the way you always start is we always start with y minus. What am I going to plug in for my y1? Y minus 3 equals, what's my m that I can plug in? 4, then a parentheses, then an x, minus, what's my x1? Negative 2. Okay? Now, I just need to kind of clean this up a little bit. Okay? How can I clean this up a little bit? What's wrong with this written right like it is right now? The double negative. Okay? So this one, you just have to rewrite y minus 3 equals, the 4 does stay on the outside. You don't have to distribute it. And this becomes x, negative, negative turns to what? Positive. Plus 2. That's your answer. Okay, that is an equation of a line written in point-slope form. Okay, this is called point-slope form because it has a point and a slope in the equation. It has a point and it has a slope in the equation. Now, the next part, okay, for example number 2, I'm going to ask you to change your equation okay, change the equation. We're going to do the one that I just found. Change the equation into slope-intercept form. Change the equation into slope-intercept form. So, if you look back at my 2 forms here, what's the difference? What's the main difference that you see between them? Say it again. Okay. This one has parentheses, right? And it has something attached to the y. This one is just like really streamlined. So all you have to do to change it is we're going to rewrite this. So rewrite y minus 3 equals 4 times x plus 2. If I was going to solve this, okay, if I wanted to simplify it, make it more streamlined, what do you think we would do first? Say it again. Distribute. So distribute into the parentheses. You were kind of there, yeah. Distribute in the parentheses. So y minus 3 equals 4x plus 8. Then what? Your slope-intercept equation has y all by itself. So how would I get y all by itself? Add the 3. Does the 3 get added to the 4x or to the 8? The 8. So just make sure when you're adding or subtracting things that you're kind of lining them up. Okay, so that would give you y equals, because these went away, 4x plus 11. That's your answer. So most of what you're doing today is just changing from one equation to the other kind of equation. Okay, just changing from one kind of equation and the other to the other equation, kind of equation. Sorry, I can't talk right now. So say it again.
Like changing the equation, we're not solving it.
You're not solving. There is no way to solve this because it has 2 letters.
Okay.
We could ask you to graph it, but I'm not asking you to do any graphing today. Okay, so most of it is just changing equations today. Okay, so let me make sure that I'm giving you guys enough stuff. Just make sure I know what we're doing. Okay, next one I want you to do. Okay, for number 3. Example number 3. Write an equation. Write the equation in point-slope form. Write the equation in point-slope form if it passes through. Destin, write this down. If it passes through the point. If it passes through the point. I just lost my place. Sorry. 2 comma 4, and slope, and has slope of negative 3 over 2. Write the equation in point slope form. If it passes through the point 2 comma 4 and has the slope of negative 3 over 2. So, top of our paper, let's just remind ourselves, what does point slope form look like? Y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. Okay, I will make you guys a poster of that to put up just so that you can remember. Okay, and I apologize, I don't have the slope intercept form one up right now. Okay, that one is point slope form. So, we're going to plug in what we know. Okay, what parts do we know here? We know y1. Which one is y1? Y1 is 4. What else do I know? I know m. What is your m? M is negative 3 over 2. And what else do I know? X1 is 2. So you're just going to plug in what you know. So y minus, you always start with y minus. Y minus, what's y1? 4 equals, what's your m? Negative 3 over 2 times, what's x? Just x. X minus x1 is 2. Is there anything I need to do there before do I need to fix anything? No, there's no distribution, there's no negatives, so that's your answer. Okay, this is written in point slope form. Okay, now I want you to change it to slope intercept form. Dustin, why are you not writing? Change to slope intercept form. How do you think we would do that? Distribute, right. So you still have y minus 4 equals, if I distribute, what's going to happen if I distribute? This negative 3 over 2 goes to x and to negative 2. What's negative 3 over 2 times x? Negative 3 over 2x. And that's okay. Then what happens when I distribute a negative 3 over 2 times a negative 2? You might want to do it on the side of your paper if you need to. Negative 3 over 2 times negative 2. What happens? The 2's go away, right? And what happens with the negatives? Double negatives turn to positive. So this actually becomes what? Plus 3. Then, how do I get the y by itself? Add your 4. So add 4, add 4. So we got y equals negative 3 over 2x. 3 plus 4 gives you what? Plus 7. And that's the same equation written in slope intercept form. Okay, that's called slope intercept form. How do we feel about this?
I'm sorry.
What's confusing, Joe?
I don't know, all of it.
Okay, are you confused about like what parts you're plugging in, or you got to be a little bit more clear for me?
I don't know.
You don't know. Okay. Well, you get back to me when you figure it out.
Intercept
Okay,
form.
so for number 4, okay, number 4. Now we're going to change it up just a little bit, okay? I want you to write an equation. Write the equation in point slope form of a line passing through the points 3 comma 6 and 4 negative 2. Write an equation in point slope form for a line passing through 3 comma 6 and 4 negative 2. If I want to write something in point slope form, what do I need? Yes. You need a point and the slope, right? I have points, but do I have a slope? No. But if I have 2 points, can I find the slope? Yes. So first thing you have to do is find slope. Find the slope. So how do we find slope of a line? Start by doing what? You use the formula, so we want to label these. So x1, y1, x2, y2. What's the formula for slope? y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So if we plug in, what's my y2? Negative 2 minus, what's y1? 6 over, what's my x2? 4 minus, what's my x1? 3. Drew, this could be a real reason why you're not understanding. Okay, seriously? I'm not interested. Let's get this done. Negative 2 minus 6 gives you what? Negative 2 minus 6 gives us what? Negative 8. Over 4 minus 3 is 1. So what's the slope? Negative 8. So negative 8 equals slope. Now, what did we say we needed? Which parts do we need to write an equation in point slope form? The point and the slope. So I have a slope, right? I have 2 different points. You can pick whichever ones you want. Okay, you can pick whatever one you want. I'm going to stick with this one because I already labeled it x1, y1. Okay, but you could do it with this one as well. Does not matter. Okay, now if I want to write this in point slope form, what is point slope form? Y minus what? Y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. And now we have to plug things in. So y minus, what's your y1? 6 equals, what's m? Negative 8 times x minus, what's x1? 3. That is your equation written in point slope form. That is the equation written in point slope form. Then guess what the next question is going to ask you? Rewrite it to slope intercept form. Rewrite in slope intercept form. So, how would you start to rewrite that in slope intercept form? What would you do first? Distribute. So we would have y minus 6 equals, if you distribute, what does that give us? Negative 8x plus 24. Okay, distributed that. Then what would we do? Add the 6, so move the 6. If you move the 6, you would get y equals what? Negative 8x plus 30. That's the right answer in, what kind of form is this one called? Slope intercept form. Slope intercept form. Okay, and that's called slope intercept form because you can look at it and that's the slope, that's the intercept. Okay, the other one is point slope form because there's a point inside and a slope. That's the difference between the two. Okay, your homework is written up on the board. You guys are doing page 225 in your books. Numbers 1 through 10 and 15 through 22. Okay, just in case you didn't do last night's homework, make sure you get it done because we will be checking both 3.5 and 3.6 on block day. Okay, we will check both 3.5 and 3.6 on block day. That's what I said, yes.